Hey, so before you watch this video, did you know that we have a new show called Ask Ulises? Hashtag Ask Ulises, where we answer your health questions, or more specifically, my dad answers your questions. So if you have a health questions, whether it's regarding mental health, physical health, questions regarding relationships, you can go on social media and ask your question using the hashtag Ask Ulises. Or you can send us an email at askulises.com and we'll create videos of my dad answering those questions. Now, on to the video. So, welcome everyone. We're going to start having some more segments of me asking my dad some health questions. And this segment might be a little more selfish because it's going to be questions that I personally have or questions that I've heard other people asking. But yeah, so Dad, we'll get started. So, first question I want to ask you is it's something that I hear often is that people, they don't feel motivated, they don't feel like going to work, they don't feel like, they just feel like they have a lack of motivation. What leads to that?
Well, if we look from the physiological part, there is an imbalance that occurs in the body. So, because we do have energy, there are hormones that helps with generating the stimulus, and some proteins that start in the brain with neurotransmitters like dopamine.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that if I don't feel it, I'm hit physiologically. I'm not. I know I need to do this, but I just not cleaning the house, or maybe not going to class, or not doing my homework, or maybe even not approaching my son, or being willing to be connected with somebody. So we got the physiology involved, but of course behind this is my thoughts. Okay, what am I focusing? So there is a physical body that do all this processing information that comes from the external world and also from my own thoughts. So I process that, and the intention that I have, and the thoughts that are entertaining, it just will direct energy, energy that's inside our body, which is in a form of carbohydrates or fats, and the energy that is going to be directed towards the direction of my intention. So, and then there is, information that comes in form of hormones, okay, that helps to execute, some of the intentions.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of this activity it begins with a desire to do something, or fulfill a need, or maybe just approaching to a new venture, or maybe exploring something. So, I need those chemicals, and this can be interfered by the quality of my thoughts. What am I thinking? And of course, that is if I'm thinking that I'm foolish. And of course, why the body wants to move to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I think that my wife doesn't love me, why would I go and hug her? Or if I think that I'm not capable to be a good father, why am I going to spend time with my son? So, and of course, this is the thoughts involved. There are also emotions. There are feelings around this, and that can reinforce, the direction of all these thoughts. But the emotions are good because they act like how you call it, a GPS, an internal GPS. Okay, so if it's less pleasant emotions, this internal GPS is telling me there's something wrong in the way how I'm directing my thoughts. My intention has to be changed. Something has to be changed, and the body won't do it. The body only processes information. So the other part of me, which is invisible, my spirit, my soul, or my conscience, whatever people want to call it. Okay, at the end of the day, it has to make a choice. So there is capacity to change, yes, and of course, motivation depends on these particular components. That are directed. It's always they are directed by me. The person that who I am. That's the one that directs this.
Okay, so okay, so because you were saying, okay, thought, well, actually, let me take a step back. So then, let's say I'm going throughout my day. Today's Tuesday. It's about noon right now. Let's say I'm working, and all of a sudden I feel like, what, I just don't feel motivated to keep working. Like what's something that someone could start doing when they start feeling that lack of motivation?
Well, number one, they have to accept the feeling. There's always, feelings. These things are not only thoughts, There's It's going to be a direct communication with the body and the emotion. So this emotion that comes along with like a motivation, no, whatever it might be, because I may feel like with a lack of energy, I may feel like irritated. So we have to be attentive to what kind of emotions are, our body's engaging, because that will give us what I say, like the directions to know what to do. So if I don't feel motivated to do anything, first, work with this, observe your emotions, don't run from them. They're not bad, okay? I mean, the belief, that we have, this is paradigms, cultural. Emotions are bad, it's a sign of weakness, so we have to remove that. And of course, there might be a little bit of pain involved with this. Pain is not bad either. This is another thing in the cultural part. See, I mean, you're supposed to feel any pain, so take this pill, no? Okay, you feel a little uncomfortable, take this thing, and of course, this is damaging our communities, is hurting us. If I feel the pain, I can take it. So, and of course, as I observe these emotions, the pain goes away. Because, the purpose of the emotions are you have to face with something that you started that was wrong in the first place. And you have to reconcile. So, once when I do that, the next thing is just, I need help. I need to speak to somebody. I could probably call my wife or somebody that's close to me, it could be a father, and I say, Dad, I feel, this way. Okay. I mean, that doesn't mean that your dad or your wife is going to fix the internal part. This is your job. But communicating, these emotions are very important. Mm-hmm. So, and of course, we communicate with God too, but we need to communicate horizontally too with other people I can trust. Then the next thing is just go and do it. Okay, just go and do what you don't feel motivated to do. So as you observe your emotions, and communicate these emotions, you're gonna find something amazing. People will open their hearts and they'll give the goodness that they have, and then whatever is wrong that's happening, because this had to do with something wrong that's inside me that had to be removed. As far as it's there, the physiology will continue being affected. So I will have to really do that. And then, you're going to feel a change on the physiology, the dopamine level goes up, and I can start doing the things I have to do.
Mm-hmm. So, so kind of based off what you're saying, a lot of it comes down to, I guess, learning to be more self-aware, more observant of yourself. Because like you were saying, it's just culturally speaking, it's when we think of emotions, it's like, oh, it's just emotions. That's bad. That's not good.
Walk away, avoid it.
I literally saw a comment on Facebook the other day that said, "F emotions, like forget them. Like they're not important, but they are. Like they're a sign. It's something to observe."
Oh, they're very critical. And for the past so many years, I mean, probably in the last 50 years, we've been teaching people. This is a cultural thing that's coming through, our time, that these emotions are bad, gotta avoid it, walk away from. But no, they're not really bad, because, they tell us something that is inside us that has to be removed. Mm-hmm. And as far as we avoid it, ignore it, the pain is bigger. The conflicts are difficult to really deal with. When I will face somebody with a different opinion, I will probably attack or maybe defend myself, which makes the problem bigger. So we have to really address that.
Yeah. And then again, like you were saying, another culture thing is that oftentimes people say, "Oh, just hold it in." And I think that's, like, to your point, what you were saying, how it's very helpful to actually, whether it's talk to your wife, talk to maybe a trusted coworker, or your dad. I think culturally we've been taught that, oh, just hold it in, get over it.
Yeah. Oh, it's horrible. Even with training, and this is the bad part that we've been doing. We're training our children, students and family. I mean, hold it in. I mean, this is a horrible thing. I will be living with a tremendous amount of pain. And I can be smiling or be an executive in a company or going to school or apparently happily married. I'm going to poison It's a poison inside, and I'm gonna poison those around me. I'm gonna be poisoning my wife eventually, and my kids, the people I work with. You know, I mean, not necessarily I'm gonna be probably attacking people, but it will affect other people because, you know, if I do that, the biggest problem will be I'm gonna have an empty heart because I'm gonna be carrying the pain that somebody, you know, imposed on me when I was a child, or when or you know, under certain circumstances. It's gonna be held internally. You know, I really need to have, you know, a gate, you know, within my soul where I can, as I interact with other people, I can allow the good things to come from somebody else. So whatever is poisoning me, it can come out of myself, you know, out of my system, and then I can improve and learn and, you know, have a better life.
Perfect. This is good stuff. So kind of going back, another question I had, kind of going back to the root of, you know, lack of motivation is thoughts. And this has actually been something that's on my mind the last few, you know, this been on my mind the last few days.
Yeah, you sent me a text.
Yeah, I sent you a text just around, I think it was Sunday night. But how would you define thoughts? Like, what are thoughts?
You know, now that you bring that up, I done hundreds of seminars, okay, to different parts in the country and other countries. And, you know, once in a while, you know, somebody comes with a question, you know, what are thoughts? Okay, it's interesting, you know. But, you know, I'm going to bring, you know, of course, I'm going to bring some of the physiology and some of the understanding and neurology in regard to this. You know, our brain, which is the physical part of who we are, you know, when we're born, you know, it actually is like a sponge. You know, it gets everything that's in the surrounding, you know, everything that's in the environment. And it's done it through sensors that are the skin, your eyes, your ears, you know, your taste, smell. So all this, it's just like this is coming in. And there is a brain with so many neurons, you know, billions, that are being stimulated. And then there is a process where it goes from, you know, influencing a gene that will produce certain chemicals. And then there is memory of that information. So that sponge is just there. And then we create circuitries. We create highways of information that is a totally network, okay, with trillions of connections. I mean, literally trillions. So we have that, and I can hear many things. You know, I hear, you know, the voice of comfort from my dad, and I hear the voice of love and compassion, the teaching from, you know, somebody in class, and everything else that happens around me. You know, the wind and the exposure to the sun and even the viruses. You know, so information is embedded. You know, memory, it happens. So, but going back to the communication, you know, we communicate through gestures. You know, and everything is built in all this network. And I hear, you know, as a child, and everybody does, good things come in, and there are circuitries, but I also hear bad things. So they're words. Okay, the words that come from somebody's mouth, they're like seeds. Okay, they're planted. Okay, this is just a comparison. You know, I want to be a little philosophical now. You know, going from the neurology, you know, from all these connections, to the other part. You know, it's a seed. You say something, you're planting a seed on one of these circuitries. Okay, and it could be something bad, or there's another person say something else. It's a seed. So, of course, you know, my brain, who has a high level of intelligence in the whole body, okay, will know how to process the information and convert this sound that comes through waves as you speak, you know, into my ears, convert it into electrical charges, you know, travel through nerves, into neurons, and the whole process of, you know, influencing genes and creating proteins and memory. So I have inside me all these seeds, all of them. I hear the insult from somebody, I hear the good thing from somebody else. I hear the media. I hear this. I hear that. And this is the little kid growing. Okay. And of course, now I make my choices. Okay. And I chose to play with this boy and not play with that boy. Okay. And maybe I chose to play with, G.I. Joe, or maybe, the computer. So this is the other part that has to do with me, the one person that is, making choices, which is not the brain. No, the brain only does save information, process it. Now, I have to select, as I go through life and have experiences, as I interact with people and things in the entire world in my surrounding. There's going to be opportunities to choose, all the way through life, from the moment that I have, an understanding of this. And the age is, considered to be somewhere around 8, okay, or maybe before. So when I understanding things, I can choose now. But I have the seed inside me. I have it already, okay. Now I can choose, okay, in front of this experience, between this, select this seed or this other seed, okay? And I choose this one. Let's say I choose to plant the seed that's going to be giving a fruit that's going to be creating damage to me. Okay, if I choose that, fortunately, my body is intelligent, no? So, and if I choose that, I'm going to feel uncomfortable. There's going to be a process. This is totally out of, a way to live. And since my body has the information regard to what is best for me, so I'm going to, there's going to be processes of this information, send it to the body responds, there's emotions, I feel pain because of my wrong choice, and it's a good thing, okay? Because now I know that this seed that I plant is going to create some fruits that are going to damage. My body is going to affect other people outside me. So I still can choose whether if I follow this new information I receive through pain and emotion that are uncomfortable, or maybe not. So because I have other seeds, I can probably say, okay, I plant this seed and it's not good and it's creating pain and it's making me feel uncomfortable, and I choose not to confront this and reconcile. And maybe I say, maybe I plant a different seed. No, maybe I reason, and I justify my actions,
Sorry about that. The camera cut off, but yeah, Dad, please continue.
Okay, so now, I decide not to take responsibility, okay? Okay, even though it's gonna hurt me if I don't fix this. So, in my lack of experience, okay, I get to the point where I feel, okay, maybe I can just, look into another seed that is planted somewhere in some of my circuitries or maps in my brain, and I say, okay, now I'm gonna justify my actions, okay? I didn't take responsibility. I don't comprehend the emotion, what it is. I don't comprehend the importance of this pain. I don't want the pain. So I decide to, pull another seed, plant it, okay? And of course, this means that I'm heading for disaster, okay? And of course, this is, what it is. So, where did it come from? Okay, it came from everybody in this planet that ever have lived. Okay, who gives instructions and how it happens? Something that we don't understand. No, we've been taught by God. We've been taught in a different way. There is already understanding who is doing all this implantation information. This is something that probably I'm gonna leave you and the audience, to reflect and let your impressions come along. Okay, be sure that your mind is not the one that's answering, because we put in the mind so many seeds. Some of those are really came from the wrong source. Okay, and that's the reason why there's so much suffering. No, we don't take care of unfinished business. And that's why it is suffering and this problem with communicating, is problem with biases, polarization, you know, inability to really communicate in the right way, inability to see what really is happening with people's respond to events or conflicts. So this is unfortunate, you know, but it creates a lot of sickness because body and the brain they're connected. They produce inflammation. If I live with containing all this in me, internally.
So then staying with the seed analogy, would it be appropriate or right to say then that some of our thoughts aren't necessarily our own, that they were perhaps planted by XYZ person
to the 20 generations.
Yeah, we see that, for example, racism can sometimes be handed down, so to speak, that way of thinking, that perspective from father to son and son to and then to daughter and so on and so forth, that perhaps some of the thoughts that we have are just more handed down to us. Would that be correct in
Yeah, fortunately, we're not victims of this.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Because the whole brain in the body is made in a way that at a certain point in our life we produce more of certain hormones as we become adolescents. So now we can move from the cultural part, and think independent. And finally I can see, what? I love my dad, but I can see that there is discrepancy. He's talking about love, but he's, at the kitchen table, he's complaining. He's bell-mouthing, his boss, okay, or downgrading somebody else in the street. So now the restructuring of my brain as I become an adolescent. So he allows me to make my own choices now. And direct my life, even though might be some bad things inside me. Now I can take charge and start going through life in the journey to remove all the bad things and even help along the way to others that are having some bad things in their life. That could be my spouse or my friend or somebody in class or a stranger.
Perfect. So it goes back to kind of what you were even saying with the lack of motivation. All this really, a lot of this comes back down to, being observant and reflective and understanding that maybe I do, for example, maybe I do have, I don't know, prejudices against certain people, but being able to take a step back and reflect and say, oh, well, that's actually not the right way to do it, and then be able to change your course of thinking.
Yeah. Well, we have to remember one thing is we're part of a community. So if we have some of these unresolved issues that had to do with me, because I didn't take care of these 20 years ago and 30 years ago, and then I maybe abandoned some people or hurt some people, intentional or unintentional, or somebody hurt me, and it's there. So all this is accumulating, okay, and of course will have an effect, okay, and will create some differences as I'm interacting with people, and that's a good thing because finally somebody's going to come to the rescue. Okay, and it doesn't mean that the person is going to fix my whole past, but what it means is now when we are confronting differences, some of the stuff that is hiding inside me can come to the surface, and if we don't know what really is happening there, we might attack the person, but behind this is a number of things. It's a combination of my dreams, unmet needs, the pain that I have, and learning how to communicate is, so basically important. Not doing it, it will put us in the state of suffering, a state of pain, and of course, we internally we are damaged ourselves. It's physiological, no? It's there. No, I've been planting this seed that's growing to give fruits that are damaging the body, because even though there is we speak philosophically in every sense of the way, there is physiology involved with all these connections, so will affect our body lower amount of dopamine, okay, or too much epinephrine, okay, or maybe a lack of enough production of serotonin. All these things, get us to age, early in life, get sick, and of course, affect the way how we sleep and the way how we feel and the way how we understand life and understand our own divine nature.
So real quick, because there's a thought I just had. So then it would actually be really healthy for people to get to engage more in their community, and especially with people who maybe have a difference of opinion, and in a obviously a non-judgmental way, because the thought I had was that as you engage with people who maybe have different opinions, the feelings that you have, the emotions you have, are a good indicator of maybe your mental state and other things you may have unresolved that you didn't realize about. Would that be correct in saying?
Oh yeah, there is no doubt. Be engaged with the community, be engaged with your spouse and your children and your sisters and brothers and father and mother, and interacting. It's a healing. It's the way to heal. Okay? It is a way. We hear a lot of things in the last 20, 30 years. Walk away from everybody that's toxic. Avoid people that are that's not a solution. Okay. Because, of course, you got to walk away from people who are dangerous. No, somebody that wants to stab you, with a knife. Okay.
Or just have a conversation with him.
Yeah. I mean, because his mind is not in the right place. You're gonna have to knock him down. Be sure you call the police, and he has to be placed in a place where somebody can help him. But normally, for the most part, all these behaviors that happens at work or at home. It is nothing but a person saying, I don't know how to communicate. Okay, I carry suffering. No, it's internal. These things just arise. I feel irritated. I don't know how to talk. I'm going to scream. Okay, and the problem is we don't comprehend that this person is saying, I just need help. Mm-hmm. I didn't get the right help when I was a child. When I feel this way, and there was a father or a mother to say, don't cry. No, cry's not good. Okay, or don't do this or don't do that, or I probably was going through that and never learned how to do this. And now I raise my voice, or I manipulate you, or I control you, or maybe I just use a different way how to deal with interacting, and this is the real problem. If I walk away from this person, I'm gonna find somebody else on the next job. And and if I walk away from my spouse, I'm gonna find some other spouse that's gonna be doing the same, or maybe worse. Or if I decide to ignore my son, okay, it's the problem not gonna go, because I embedded information, the memory is there, and it's gonna follow me everywhere I go. Okay, maybe I would say, okay, well, it's painful to be in front of my son, okay, because we have this toxic relationship. That's true. But I have to realize that I'm part of the problem.
That's really good, because honestly, a lot of the I hear it a lot that people, like you were saying, people say if you're in a toxic relationship, which obviously if you're in an abusive relationship, that's something entirely different.
Yeah.
But but people say avoid toxic people, cut people from your life. When, like you were saying, that doesn't solve the issue. It's more of putting a Band-Aid on the issue.
Yeah, and the thing is, you're gonna carry that thought that job, it was so bad, and I'm glad I left. Okay, and then you find yourself 2 years later on the same predicament. You might be happy in the beginning. You feel happy. The grass is green right now. Okay, everybody sounds okay, but I need to find a person that's gonna give me a hard time because I got bad things. So when this thing happens, some of my feelings will be to the surface, and I will have maybe an opportunity to change.
Great. All right, with that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much, and we'll
Thank
be back
you.
another time with some more questions. Stay tuned.